We're going to start about threat assessment. Explain this threat thing to me.
Okay, so threat levels. The threat level is it's a hierarchy system. What happens is threat level will really be used if you want to use a lockdown, a facility lockdown feature. It's something that even if you don't think you want to use a facility lockdown right now, it's something that you want to plan ahead for, because threat levels need to be set in each individual card holder
At the time of
at the time of building the credential. Okay? So the beautiful thing about that is we can build credential templates and things like that already put it in, where your individual staff at individual sites don't have to think about it, but it's still something that, as the system programmer, needs to be set up ahead of time. What I have thought about in the past, when I've thought about this, helping build for a customer, is that even if you don't know who you're going to want to have the higher level of threat level, which will allow them to go through a door during a lockdown, if you make everybody a decided kind of number, like 0 being the highest priority, no one's getting in to a 0 lockdown. But if it were a level 2 lockdown and you made all of your employees level 5 lockdowns, even though we're not building lockdown right now, if we make everybody a level 5 threat level in their credential, in the future you don't have to go back and change 3,000 people's threat level because you never put anything in. Now we just have to go back and say all security personnel now become changed from 5s to 3s, or whatever we need. All Knox box cards that go in with the firefighter's key in the Knox box, if you guys are choosing to do it that way.
Which is also going to be the dispatcher that can actually lock something out of school before they even tell somebody to throw a card.
Right.
from
So
outside.
the most important part here is that when you think about threat levels, it goes from 0 to 100. The fact of the matter is you probably won't have a system that complicated, and you don't want to have a system that complicated. So more likely than not, you're going to pick a mid-range, something within the first 20 at the greatest. I mean, if you made everybody a 10, that gives you so much expansion back to,
That's what I was just about to say.
back to 0.
10 is the standard employee,
Yep.
and then the levels progress from there.
Progress from there.
Of course, fire will be 0. I'm going to say chief of police needs to be a 1,
Right.
and his first officer,
Right.
and then
locked down in 2 sheets.
and then 3 to 10 may never be used other than
And-
that.
and
But 3 will be like sworn officers.
Right. And so all I'm doing here is just trying to counsel you guys on
Best
that
practices.
you want to, best practices, what you guys want to start to implement. These are going to be your SOPs, not sound and signals. And the fact of the matter is, you guys are going to end up building the majority of card holder credentials and things of that nature.
Templates.
You're going to be the templates, and you're going to be the individuals that are eventually instructing school staff how to do this. And we need to make it simple for them, or they're not thinking about it. They don't even know about that limit 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
So now my credentials here is a 2 card,
Mhm.
and in the threat level under links, there's a
Right.
normal view. If I click AB Rule A and apply it,
Right.
what does my credentials start to
So
look like?
here's what's going to happen. As of right now, the way APS is running their card access control, you should never have to change the 2-person rule from normal. By default, they'll come out as normal. When we build templates, they should build out as normal without you having to change that. What normal means is 2-person rule normal. It means that you are not observing what they call anti-passback. Okay? Anti-passback, in order to use anti-passback, you have to have a card in, card out situation. Now, we do have that here, but that the rest of your facilities, you guys don't typically want that. There's schools, you want free egress, other than maybe your administrative buildings and situations where you have flight risks, special needs children. You guys aren't utilizing the card in, card out situation. You're utilizing free egress. You stop bad guys and visitors that aren't welcome from coming into buildings. You allow everybody to leave because of life safety mainly.
I call that the fort situation.
Right.
Does it flip flat back to that if you don't flop or exit and card out, you won't be able to get back in?
So-
Or is it just in, you can't?
There you go.
Does it go both ways because
Right.
of the tailgating?
So yeah, exactly, Carl. That's exactly what, if you were to turn on AB Rule A, I couldn't tell you the difference between AB Rule A and AB Rule B without looking into the help menu, and we can look at that together if you guys want to right now. What I believe we're talking about here, I believe that is addressing what's called anti-passback, which is exactly what you're talking about, stopping tailgating when you're using a card in, card out situation. You can only use that feature when you're using card in, card out, unless you find a way to grace cards, and it makes your system a lot more complicated. If at this facility where you're using card in, card out, if you decided that the security was so important that you needed anti-passback, you could turn that on. What that's going to do is this. You and I walk up to the door. This is Sandia National Labs. We're both employees. And Mike, dude, I drove my wife's car today. I left my access control badge in my truck, man. I don't want to have to be late and piss off the supervisor. I don't want to have to go to security. Just get me in the building, right? We're friends. And you called me on your phone. I get there, I read my card, I put it in the planner. We're not up to no good. I'm just trying to help my coworker. You come up, but the policy is you can't get in the building. Now, I read my card and walked in the
Okay.
building. You're going to give me my card back. You come up and you read your card and it says, you're already in the building.
Well, that's the same thing as on simplified terms. It's when our custodians come in, well, they're there, but you're supposed to leave at 11. Well, one leaves at 10, the other one leaves at 11. We're able to track it better if we say that you have to go
Right.
through the card after a certain
Right.
hour. And it'd be more tracking hours, so you
Yeah,
can't leave.
no.
And that was A, B, A.
Yeah, so as you're looking at this, now I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong about that portion of it.
Do you want to read the card rule first? Two-person rule?
Yeah, let's read the two-person rule first. And
Okay.
like I said, I'm going off what I think I know. We
So
need to make sure.
two-person rule specifies how two-person rule applies to the credentials. Doors are enabled for two-person rule using the general page, the door.
Property settings, right.
Timers and days, the following combinations of credentials limits are valid at a two-person rule door. The combination of credentials limits are invalid and will not allow access in a two-person rule enabled door. And it's just like you said, you can only go in until you've checked out.
Checked out. And so honestly, in your guys' normal school situation, you're not doing card in, card out because of the life safety egress.
And we're not that high security.
And you're not that high security. Even in this school, I don't know, it's nice for you guys to understand this. If you ever wanted to implement it, you could. But I think, in this case, you've got to realize this as well. Unless one of those rules changes something, the fact of the matter is let's say a teacher's aide for one of these special classes, that's escorting children with special needs, and one of them's a flight risk, because we know how that works with some of the, well, it works that way with regular kids too that don't want to be here. But they're a flight risk, but they're a flight risk, and they're not just gonna go and smoke a joint under the bridge, they're gonna walk out into traffic, cause they don't know any better.
Right.
And they're special needs, so it's a really big problem. They didn't do this consciously on their own, per se. What happens is even if you were using an anti-passback rule on these doors down here, that's great. I can keep Bill from using my card to get in because he forgot his. Now, okay, Bill didn't get to come in. And yes, we did track that Mike left on time, which by law, I don't think this can be used as a time clock.
A
But it can be
tool
used
to-
as a tool in conjunction with what did they claim, what did they sign their name to on their timesheet?
And what we have proof that they.
And what you have proof that they did punch out at on a clock,
Okay.
you know? Because Mike had Bill punch his time card at.
Sometimes it's just the thought that they could, so let's not leave early.
So, right, so in this instance, here's the issue with anti-passback and the way it works standard. We stop somebody else from getting in, because that's what you need to do. You need to define, this is truly the entry reader, this is truly the exit reader. Fact of the matter is, the guys that set this up without anti-passback being on the job, they probably didn't worry about it. You know what I mean? If we turn that feature on, you actually have to go out to the field and turn on, or I'm sorry, you don't have to do it in the field, you have to do it here. But what you might find out is oh, we can't get, they may have your entry and exit readers swapped. Reader input 1 is always entry, reader input 2 is exit. And if those guys, if the installers got told there's no anti-passback, don't worry, they may not worry about where they plugged it in.
Got a question on the threat level.
Okay,
So Carl's a 4 or 3.
okay.
A situation arises.
I was gonna say it's more of a 5, but.
A situation arises in a lockdown, and no one above his level is able to access, to be on site. Can I log in, change his threat level, and it'll start working? I can raise his threat level.
As long as you can make a connection to that server and get a clean download, yes. I mean, you can do stuff on the fly.
Cause it
In
just
fact,
flashes it, right?
which, yes,
Right,
and
that's
so
this.
here's the other thing that happens. I used to build these systems where they had a server working out of Littleton, Colorado for all of the Quest sites. And in New Mexico, all I would do are Quest sites. And to all these remote all these remote stations, I would go in and put in access control. They would issue badges to their remote techs and to other people. And the cool thing was, I may end up in Nebraska, or I may end up in Oregon the next month. And I'm adding doors to an existing facility, or I'm putting cameras into an existing facility. I'd get on the phone, call the Quest
administrator.
Velocity administrator in Littleton, Colorado, and say, hey, it's Mike Vidro with
Whatever.
the company I'm working for, and they'd be like, oh yeah, what's going on, Mike? Hey, they've got me working at this building up here. I don't have access. Oh, well, hold on. What's the name of the facility and address? Well, it's this. Well, tell you what, let's just make it simpler, Mike. Go ahead and present your card to the existing card reader that you don't have access to. Beep. Oh, okay, I see where you're at. Hold on. I'll give you that authorization. They go in and make the changes to my permission right then and there, because they're the system administrator. Or, even better, I'm inside a facility, it's card in, card out, I can't get out of the building, or I'm locked behind a door that isn't card access control. They used to inventory all their doors. So I could literally, if I had a cell signal, I'd say, hey man, I'm locked in this room, in this facility. Well, is there an asset tag on the door frame? Yeah, the asset tag says this. They look that door up and go, oh, you're behind this door. Okay, you know what? There's no card reader there, but we're controlling it electronically. Pop, open the door.
Okay.
So just management things, and that's why I say us putting labels on stuff. Now here's the one thing in this list that I want to address super quick, not to take us away from other stuff. But you have to realize if you notice this, I didn't use any of your special labeling. And there's a reason for that. Because I'm Heido Guzman, working on the construction
gotcha.
site. You got it?
He's
So-
gonna name it his logical thing, his way.
From
of
the
thinking.
drawing, from the compass logic, he's not gonna have a choice unless he's been shared special information. Which also means, unfortunately, when you come in here, if we're not getting, so I don't know if there's a way at the beginning of a project for you to get special information back through our project managers. That's something for you guys to think about. Because maybe,
Well, you know, in the planning phase, we can identify a door or name a door.
and so here's where the hard part comes. You have the human factor, and you've got to realize
Yeah.
we'll
be all
these are
right.
intelligent. Yeah, so it's gonna work out. But I think you need to be prepared for the fact that what the hell is this? You know.
Well, you know what?
And the beautiful part
Second
is
floor, north wing, northwest.
stair entry. Is
I
what
will be able to figure that out.
Yes, you would. The other beautiful thing is if Sun and Signal, and that's the other problem. By the time you get to this, right now, Sun and Signal doesn't have. They get backlogs of building these. Hey, what's going on, Nate?
I
Dog?
got a question, could you have a lighter tomorrow?
A lighter?
Yeah, I gotta burn off.
Go unless you have one in your tool bag. Go to my smoker. Go. You're gonna have a hard time. Go down to the driver's side of my toolbox. Open it. There's a big mouth bag.
Here, wait a minute. Just